How's everybody doing? This is Big Dude, and today I wanted to talk a little bit more about Everwind. Everwind is a very promising upcoming game that is a fantasy RPG sandbox survival game, and I've got to say I'm very fascinated with the direction of this game, and I think it could turn out to be a very enjoyable time. But I do think there are three very large things that really need to be implemented into this game for it to fully land with not only me, but probably a lot of other people as well. Now, the third item on this list is probably the most detrimental, so make sure to watch all the way to the end of the video to see what that point is. But let's jump into the first thing, and this is story. Now, really the only hint of a story that I've seen is from this roadmap that does mention a main story Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. So it is good to know that there is plans to have a story for the game, but I'm just really hoping that it's something that is very well thought out and crafted that we can really sink into and care about. The last thing I want for this game is for it to just be an infinite jump from island to island and go through dungeons with no sense of drive or motivation as to why I'm doing that, other than to upgrade my ship and find a few cool items. I want there to be some big bad that is causing this devastation upon the land, and I have to go discover this through different dungeons and temples and sorts of things where I complete these trials and tasks that advance me through a story that lead me up to a final encounter, allowing me to feel a sense of completion in this game. I would love for there to be special islands that we could find that are handcrafted and advance the story in a very cool and engaging way. And I will say it is promising that you actually have 3 acts listed out. This does show that you are planning on it having a journey and a start and an end. And to me, this is already a really good sign, but we've seen absolutely none of this so far. So I just wanted to make sure to vocalize that this is definitely a very important part of the game that needs to exist for people to really buy into the game. The second thing that I wanted to bring up is the overworld. And I've had somebody jump into the comments and voice this as well. It kind of looks like the surface level is also islands, like smaller grassy islands. And I hope that that is not the entirety of the surface level. I would love for there to still be very large islands or continents that you can explore on the surface level as well, more similar to the world generation found in Minecraft. The Sky Islands are great and they can stay the way they are, but I would love for us to also have a vast surface world that isn't just tiny islands, because if the entire game is just tiny islands, there won't really be any area that feels like a significant open landscape. It will almost feel like little instance zones splattered throughout the map, and I think it would just really help your sense of exploration if there were larger land masses on the surface level. Now, obviously, this could already be the case, but just from the gameplay that I've seen, it does look like the surface level are still smaller islands, and I would just like to see that expanded out a little bit more. I do like that there are dungeons that can be found on the surface. I think this is good. I think that the entire game can't be in the sky. I think that the surface level does need to have some sort of story to it and have a little bit more content to it, rather than it just feeling like a tutorial zone that you need to get out of as fast as possible to get to the Sky Islands. And last, but definitely not least, this is my biggest concern for the game. And honestly, if this one thing doesn't get addressed, I think it will really fail to land with me and with a lot of people as well. And that is identity. I think the biggest thing missing from this game right now is identity. When you look at a game like Hytale, it's got such a rich lore and history with the Quebecs and the Trorks and the Farron and just all these unique races and factions that interact with each other and have a rich history in the world. And the biggest complaint that I have right now is the main enemies and factions and creatures that you find are skeletons, goblins, and steambots. And though the steamers are probably the most unique out of the 3, it still doesn't feel like the game has enough unique aspects of its world for it to feel like it has its own identity. These are very overdone fantasy creatures. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want them to go away. I do love goblins, and I love steambots, and I love skeletons. I will fight them all day. I enjoy fighting those creatures. But at the same time, let me find something unique to Everwind. Let me find a creature or a faction that I can only find in this game. I think a game that does this extremely well is Zelda. Look at the Deku Scrubs, or the Zoras, or the Gorons. They're very unique races and factions that are only set in the world of Hyrule. Or Termina, if you include that, in a lot of games. Basically, just they're only found in Zelda. And it seems like right now they're heavily relying on the capybara as a mascot for this game. And yes, they're adorable, they're fun, but they're not unique. It's still a generic animal that could be in any game. So if any Everwind developers are listening to this video, this is the biggest takeaway that I hope that you hear. Please give us something unique to this game. And I'm not just talking about enemies either. I actually honestly prefer to have more friendly factions that I can find than hostile. Such as the Zoras and Gorons from Zelda. They're not hostile, but they're just unique creatures that inhabit the world. And I would just love for Everwind to take a step into this direction and to start creating something that feels totally fresh and unique to this game. Some kind of creature that you can look at and say, oh yeah, that's Everwind. Because right now, if you were to show me this, and I mean this with no disrespect, but a lot of this game kind of looks like default assets that you would get out of a build your own game pack in the Unity asset store. And I'm not calling this an asset flip or anything like that. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the devs or anything like that, because I do think this game looks phenomenal. I'm just saying that it really lacks some identity, and I think you really have to address this particular issue. And I know it's a lot to ask. You have to design it, create lore, create animations, create the models. It's a lot of work. But I do think that it is extremely worth the investment if you can bring us something that is extremely unique to this world, and maybe these new factions and races tie into the story in a very intricate way, which instantly wraps us right back around to the first thing, which is the story. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts for what I really think Everwind needs to have in order for it to truly land with me, and probably a lot of other people as well. So Everwind devs, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you know that I'm not trying to trash this game at all. I do think it genuinely looks very fun, and I do plan on playing it myself. But these are just the 3 things that I really want. And honestly, if all I got was the identity thing that I talked about, I would be very thrilled. And also, if there are any devs out there who are watching and they want to share some information with me, feel free to reach out to me through my Discord. The link is in the description of the video. I would absolutely love to chat with you. But anyway, guys, that'll be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. It means so much to me. And hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date on Everwind, and also Hytale and the new adventure mode coming to Vintage Story. If any of those things interest you, hit that notification bell and you'll be sure to stay up to date. Anyway, thanks again so much for watching. God bless you, and I will see you on the next one.